Welcome to Taking It to the Streets. I'm your host, Andy Goldman from sunny St. Pete, Florida. This is the show where we take it to the streets, knowing if we don't, the streets will take it to us. Welcome to Taking It to the Streets. As you can see, our old buddy Rich Beem has joined us once again with that toothy smile there, Beemer.
How did your picks turn out for you last week there, Ben?
That didn't take long.
I listen, why wait for a good thing to happen, my friend? Why not just kind of chuck that out there and be like, your picks do versus what?
But I not even do the intro about Wrightwood Medical and the used medical and the whole bit. Let's just jump right in.
You can do that. No, you can do that. Somebody needs
That's
front driller.
Last week, my picks did not do well. It's as simple as that. It's a zero-sum game. And I took Akshay, who was all of them to make the cut.
Yep.
Look, it's golf. There's no excuse. There's no shoulda, coulda, woulda. It was all of them. That's the honest thing. Cam Smith did not show up, did not fire. And on the other side, you deserve your moment in the sun. You did have Rory. You stood up for Rory last week from me.
I did.
And you deserve credit for that. And Morikawa is even more of an impressive step out from you, Beemer, because you said that this guy has trouble on Sundays. And that's exactly what happened to him. He was kind of like Oberg. He was live to win the thing going into Sunday, and if not for Sunday. So I guess we could start there. What is the rap with that? It's not just Colin. Sure, it's other players that really do struggle. It's not even about being in the final group, right? It's just Sunday.
I mean, sometimes Sundays can get in your brain a little bit because it's already been a long week, right? Because you had a practice round. You probably have a practice round Tuesday of some sort. There was 9 holes. And sometimes it's not any. And then you got the Pro-Am on Wednesday. But we'll take Masters as an example. You got Monday. It was a complete washout, so nobody got the chance to do anything. Tuesday, so guys were struggling or scrambling probably to play 18 that day when they're maybe thinking 9 on Monday, 9 on Tuesday, and 9 on Wednesday. So now they're probably playing 18 holes on Tuesday and or 18 holes on Wednesday. And then you got the par 3 tournament as well. And then, once it starts, but, last week is just it's a beat down when it comes to like Friday. You just cannot wait for it to be over. But you have to grind out. You have to get up there and your brain has to stay engaged for all 72 holes. And Sunday, guys sometimes just hit a wall, and sometimes it's, I don't think it has, and certainly not in Colin Morikawa's case that, he's thinking about any of the money. I think that's where some of the guys fell apart. I know that kind of affected me at times, Andy, but I think that some guys just, they if they can't win or things aren't going their way, it's just not the whole heart and soul. And I'm not suggesting for one bit that Colin packs it in, but you're mentally kind of shut off just a little bit. And when you shut off just a little bit at the highest level, the worst possible things can happen. And again, I know that everybody's trying their best. I always tried my best. I just tried my hardest. But sometimes you lose focus like that, and you hit a wayward shot, and you're just like, Jesus, not again. I don't know if I can get up for this. And so, I think that's the biggest things when it comes to Sundays, because listen, you're pouring your energy out, and there's only one winner. At the end of the day, at the end of the week.
What's a young guy like Oberg thinking, who was putting for the lead on 16, and here comes the disaster. I'm going with the 18, where he puts the second one. He can't get out of the trap on his second shot, and he really finds trouble in the 72nd hole. And now, is there a part of him that starts to say, this is costing me hundreds of thousands of dollars, because he ends up taking a triple on
Yeah, I mean,
18. Does that go through your flight plan, because you teed up, you're cheering fourth, he's doubted, you finish your 7.
Yeah, no, I totally understand what you're saying. I think that once he hit his second shot, he kept it in the bunker. That was a little deflating, and then everything in rapid succession was, the third one goes in the greenside bunker, then he blasts it out over the green, then he chips it by 25 feet. It was like, what in the world is going on here? Again, I think it just comes down to a lapse of focus. But when it happens that deep into the weekend, I think that, he's not thinking about the money. This young man is probably set for many, many, many generations already. And it's going to only continue to get better because the guy is just an unbelievable talent. But I just think that, he lost some focus a little bit. I guarantee he's not thinking about the money. We're talking about it. He went from possibly making 1.4. But split that. So, third place, he only made like 700,000, instead of splitting.
A haircut, Rich. It really is.
Oh, no. Listen, I totally get it. But you also have to understand though, that these guys aren't, there's some guys and Lundberg is in that ilk. They're not thinking about the money. They're not thinking about how much money that it costs them. They think to themselves, it cost me the tournament. And, Ludwig probably wasn't going to win anyway. I think it was 9 under going into the final hole. Cause he just bogeyed 17. And I think the bogey on 17 really hurt him, more than anything. So I don't know. He's not worried about the money. I think he's just more upset at the fact that he just cost himself a chance to win the tournament.
That's really what the deal was. It's just about
it's just
the opportunity.
Because we think about the money because we think about it because it's supposed to, right? We look at it like, holy cow. And I remember back in the day, when the money wasn't great out there, that guys would sit there with a putt in the last hole that was worth $50,000. And that was a big chunk of money. And obviously now it was, the difference between those two was like $500,000 or something like that. Oh my God, Lee, man, we're still talking about guys making $700,000 versus, 1.2. It's like, I know. But back in the day, I think it certainly would have made a bigger difference. Now it's big, but they're still making so much money.
Beemer, where do you fall on what you saw on Sunday? It was so dramatic. It was so incredible.
I can't even believe that all happened.
Yeah.
Like what, 3 double bogeys on the final day? No, 2 double bogeys in the final round, 5 in total. Eclipsed the record, I think, of Craig Sadler had either 2 or 3 of them when he won the Masters. It was ecstasy. It was moments of wanting to commit Harry Carey. When he birdied number 10, when we were birdie 10, I was like, okay, 4-stroke lead. This has got to be fairly stable. It was just a small heart attack on 11, almost knocks it into the pond, makes bogey. Lays up on 13, and I have no earthly idea what happened on that third time. I don't even know if he's even commented about it yet. I've been kind of out of the loop a little bit, but
he said he was scared. He said he was scared. He was honest. He said that was I was scared.
Yeah.
After I saw the result of it, now I'm
it was so funny though, because like he had from that far away, he had at least 20, probably more like 30 feet to the left that he can hit it up there and it's going to come back down the slope without hesitation. And to see him completely, block that third shot on 13, I was just like going, we were all just in utter shock, utter disbelief. And a huge, gasp came out of Sky Sports golf area because obviously, he's European and I think everybody was rooting for him. I was rooting for him, obviously, to see him complete the career Grand Slam. But then you're like, how is he going to bounce back from this? And then makes bogey on 14, then hits the second shot on 15, and then the tee shot on 16 and 17. You're kind of thinking, okay, he's in total control again. Ropes it down 18, and this is like, okay, just hit it anywhere on the green. With the gap wedge, and he hits in the bunker. And Andy, I'm like going, I don't understand this. Like, I can't process what's going on here. And then to sit up there in the playoff and produce what he did was just otherworldly. I'm still lost at some of it. A good friend of ours, Andrew Coulthard, who works for Sky Sports Golf, he said something on Instagram. I think everybody should check it out. Andrew Coulthard, and it was unbelievable what he wrote. And it was so eloquent, and it went through every single phase of emotions that you could possibly come up with. And I think that's what we all went through.
Beemer, you can answer this better than anybody because of your affiliations with Sky Sports. Am I crazy to think that Justin Rose is just as popular as Rory in Europe? Obviously, he must be bigger than Rory in England. And I'm just curious, am I the only person that was rooting for Justin Rose to win it after the guts he showed by bearing that putt on 18 and his age, and think of him having to qualify a couple of years ago to make, or maybe it was last year, to make
It was last year.
Royal Troon, to make that open, and the road he's taken is
No, you're right. No, yeah, you're right. And here's the thing: is that Rory's popular everywhere around the world, right? And even in the UK, it'd be kind of touch and go a little bit there. Who's more popular and whatnot? I think though the unique place that we were in is that we were going to be happy for Justin Rose to be one, being Sky Sports UK, and the next Englishman to win after Danny Willett, and before that, obviously, Nick Faldo. But I mean, to complete the career Grand Slam, and Rory's been getting hammered about it for about 11 years now, ever since he first became eligible for it. And you're just thinking to yourself, like, if he doesn't get past this one right here, and he's got to sit there and answer questions about losing it, especially on the second 9, in the dramatic fashion that he did, I don't know how you bounce back from it. Like, I really don't know how you bounce.
Well, he could always run away like he did in the parking lot of the U.S. Open.
Well, I think he can disappear there, but I mean, I think then though you have so much scar tissue on you. I mean, it would have been unbelievable. And listen, Justin Rose is a pal of mine. I listen, if it was anybody else, it'd be like 100% Rory. But I literally thought that Justin Rose was going to make that birdie putt on the first hole of the playoff and force Rory's hand to have to make that short one for birdie, which he obviously ended up knocking into win. But boy, I thought for sure that Justin Rose had a good beat on that putt. But
it's so weird that the analyses that I do, from more of a strokes gained and the way I look at golf, that kind of way, a little more analytically, it's amazing to think of how poorly Justin putted on Saturday. Awful. And to see him putt as well on Sunday, it almost makes me wonder, is there such a thing as putting mojo, or is that a oxymoron? Because Justin couldn't putt anything on Saturday, and there was nothing he could miss on Sunday.
Well, I mean, Justin Rose is historically never been a great putter. He's been great at times when he's won, but I think the consistency, over all 4 days, and you'll find that with a lot of players too. Again, but I know he works as hard at it as anybody else. He showed some serious signs of life last year at the Open Championship when he putted fantastically as well. But on Saturday, there was some funky hole locations. We were all talking about it on air. There's something that were just a little bit different, a little bit not so that you haven't quite seen in years gone by. They're in the general area, but not quite specifically. And so, he just had an off day with the putter. I mean, he led the first 2 days. So, I mean, if you can continue putting the way that he did the first 2 days through all 4 days, then yes, he wins it with hesitation, because he doesn't shoot 75 on Saturday.
Right.
But then if he shoots 70 on Saturday, does it produce 66 on Sunday? Making 10 birdies? I mean, that's unheard of for a Sunday around Augusta National. 10 birdies, holy cow! That's seriously playing your. That's seriously golfing the ball.
Rich, was you considered a successful tournament for the live guys, or would you have considered it a blah? Or
I think it was successful for him. I mean, you have the main guy there, Bryson DeChambeau. Yeah, and Bryson's is an interesting guy. I love the way he plays the game. I love the fact that he finally kind of changed his persona, or at least the outward portion of it, a little bit, and got more the fans more involved, included, and whatnot. And then the strangest thing on Sunday, when he gets done playing and he has a bad round, and loses to Rory, he says it almost like he was upset that Rory didn't talk to him all day. Like, I'm not too sure if you felt that Rory was in the jovial mood to be able to walk down the first tee box, like this is just a Sunday round someplace and it was going to go easier. Sweet. I mean,
that almost seems like
I don't remember talking to any of my playing partners really on Sundays when I went on to win. I couldn't tell you. I guess Mark Brooks I spoke to a little bit, especially because we had a rain delay for about 45 minutes. But other than that, I mean, the conversations that I had with the other guys, it was minimal, and I don't understand, or I don't know where Bryson thought that he needed to, that he be, that Rory should have been more interactive, and it was just a very strange comment, But
And I don't remember, was Bryson, I didn't remember exactly Bryson doing live comedy at the U.S. Open for Rory when they played together. And I don't remember.
Well, they didn't play together. They didn't play together.
Isn't the etiquette, Beemer, to be standoffish and to be in your game and your zone, and that's your time to try to date that?
Just the MO is. I mean, that's what the sports psychologist will tell you, to protect your space and get out there and try and do anything to keep that other person at bay, whether it's by, intimidating them with your shots or, just doing a little gamesmanship. There's certainly a lot of ways out there. I just, that was very bizarre though. Right. And I know a lot of folks kind of felt the way that I did too, but I think that, Bryson, I think he'll go on to win the Masters at some point in time. I think he understands the game. His short game was unbelievable that last week as well. And I think that, John Rahm was a little bit disappointing. I thought he might be more prepared because he's had such a great run and live. Just finished top 10 every event that he's played in this year there. But
Patrick Reed had a great tournament.
Patrick Reed had a great tournament. I thought Joaquin Niemann was very close to playing extremely well. So yeah, I think the live players, they played well. They were in the tournament for sure.
Well, besides Brooks and Cam Smith.
Well, yeah, Brooks, yeah, that was very true. And DJ. DJ's kind of the same thing. He made double bogey. I think Brooks made triple bogey or quadruple bogey on 18 on Friday. DJ made double bogey to miss the cuts. Yeah, those guys, missing the cut. That was a little surprising. Watching Brooks during his warm-up sessions Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, from what I saw, he looked like he was swinging the club great, as he always does. And DJ just seems like that course is kind of tailor-made for him a little bit, because even though he hits these peely cutters out there, the ball striking, he never gets steep on it, so he kind of picks it off the turf. So I just think that place is right up his alley, but it wasn't meant to be. It's just those guys are disappointing. It would have been fun to see. I miss DJ. I miss watching DJ play on a daily basis. I think it's just phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm missing what will become of Joaquin Niemann.
Yeah, he's some kind of good player.
Yeah. All right, walk us through a little bit what we're going to see this weekend. Obviously, we're going to the opposite end of the spectrum. A Pete Dye course, Harbour Town, Hilton Head. We were talking about it before we hit the record button, that the rap on it for guys like me, that just casual golfers, that it's a tricked up Pete Dye. Those adjectives seem to go together. Pete Dye, tricked up. You said not exactly from a pro perspective that it's a tricked up course. You take me from there.
I think it's it's tree line. I think it's you've got to hit the ball straight. You've got to be total control. The tiniest greens on tour by a long shot. So not necessarily hitting greens is, you got to be effective. You got to be effective around the greens. You got to chip it, putt it from off of greens very well. You have to have some imagination. There's only one hole out here that's, I think, is a little bit goofy. That's part 314, where they extended back from where it used to be like 165 to now it's 185. I kind of understand it a little bit, but it's such a tiny target up there. I mean, I think that he'd get away with having it be just a 165-yard shot, and just tucking the pin a little bit more and making the guys think that way. But that's the only thing that I think that slightly tricked up about it, because it's just a good golf course in great shape each and every year. This place is immaculate, Andy. So I love it around here. You go from pressure cooker to crawdad broils or whatever they have around here.
Yeah. Beemer, does it bother you that they're running an elevated event the week after the Masters from a scheduling point? I mean,
there's also an opposite event. There's also an opposite event this week as well, I think, Corrales put to contact.
No, but the guys that qualified for an elevated event are going to almost, you're forced in a sense.
Oh, you have to. Oh, yeah.
It's 20 million and 700 FedEx points. I mean, you got to show up. But, I just feel like the scheduling, I mean, this is, I don't like the guys. Here's the deal. We can get to our picks soon, but I'm alluding to my picks. I don't like the guys that were dragged into a very tough Masters last weekend, very hardcore, that played the weekend. And now they're going to be asked for an elevated event at a completely opposite course I just don't see those guys this weekend. I think this is kind of a gift in my amateurish brain to the rank and file of the PGA as per the breakup with Liv, if you follow my logic, that they put these events. There's a lot of these guys that you're going to see this week. Joe Highsmith, guys that are the rank and file, Eric Cole, people like that. I think they have a chance to make money this week.
Oh, I totally agree. Eric was one of the guys I looked at as far as pick goes this week. Yeah, I mean, but you also kind of have to look at it too. Scottie Scheffler won the Masters last year and also won this tournament last year. I mean, it's not that you can't play well at the Masters and then come out and be completely drained by it. I mean, you got to pick yourself up and you got to go play for another $20 million. Oh my gosh, the horror. So I think that the guys out here, I think they were excited about last week and that they're done with that. And it's nice to come here and it's a very, it's an easy, slow, comfortable week for them. And I think that they love it. It's perfect for them.
Am I crazy, or that was a different Scottie Scheffler a year ago than this year?
Oh, there's parts of it, but listen, I think it's still kind of early in the season. I mean, I think last week he just wasn't efficient on and around the greens as he normally is, and didn't hit it quite as close. But he had a lot of good opportunities starting on a Friday round to really make a bunch of putts, and he burned the edge on a bunch of them. So he just wasn't quite as sharp. But I mean, when you're not as sharp and you still finish in the top 5, when you're defending, I got no issues with how he's playing. I got no issues with what's going on. It wouldn't surprise me to see him go back to back this week because of how good he is with controlling his golf ball. And yeah, I mean, I think when you're also defending champion against the national, you got a lot of weight on you as well. It can't be that's why you only have 3 guys that have ever successfully defended their titles at Augusta.
It surprised you how well Zach Johnson played last weekend?
Of course, I think it caught everybody by surprise. 49 years old, and he had the lowest round ever at Augusta National on Saturday. We had 66. I mean, yeah, who's going to predict that? I'm having 2 shoes that predicted that.
Unbelievable. Beemer, lead us off. And we'll make a rule right now as we track moving forward. What's the best, most equitable way to do it? Is it just do earnings for the tournament and we'll add them up at the end? What do you think is the best way to track our
Yeah, let's do earnings for the tournament. I think that's kind of a fair and equitable way. I mean, because I think the money is still staggered on the high end anyway. So yeah, let's just do it like that.
It's your tee. You get your first. You get 2 picks.
Okay, and how many we're going to pick, by the way?
You tell me. I was thinking 2. We could pick 3 if you want.
Let's pick 3.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to go with my buddy Tommy Fleetwood.
Okay.
He's due. You want me to go all 3?
Give me all 3.
All right. I'm also going to go. Dang it. Go Tom Hoagie.
Interesting. Okay.
And I can't go wrong with these next 3. But I'm going to. How about back-to-back Irish winner Shane Lowry?
Wow. Okay. I am liking. I've chronicled 11 guys doing my homework of this that just for whatever reason I talked about earlier that I like that they were good enough to get invited to the Masters and didn't get to the weekend. So they got the extra rest and I like their spot here. Who am I thinking of? Cameron Young, Joe Highsmith, Taylor Pendrith, Bobby Mack, Billy Horschel, Tony Finau, Lucas Glover, Adam Scott, Austin Eckroyd, Cam Davis. You got them going. Those are the guys that didn't get the weekend, but they're good enough to be at the Masters.
Yeah.
I like that angle. With that said, Joe Highsmith is my number 1 for that man. Number 2 is Taylor Pendrith.
Yeah.
And my number 3, I didn't think we were going to go 3. And does this kill me? Because this has got an egg written all in my head, but I'm going to go there because Cam Young. I've seen him play well there before. And if we saw what we saw from Homa at Augusta, then we can surely see Cam Young.
That was great. Yeah. That was great watching Homa play well as well. I mean, that was good to see that size of life, and he hit some quality shots when he needed to and hung tough all weekend. So that was a big week for him.
Absolutely. Beemer, we look forward to an expanded role having you on Taking to the Streets.
Yes, sir. It'll be fun.
This has been great. Folks, stay tuned. Joining us next will be the great José Cruz Jr. We bring back Rich Beem, of course, next week. Looking forward to it. Beemer, so long, buddy.
Here's my Brent. You got it, buddy. Be well.
This episode of Taking It to the Streets is brought to you by Wrightwood Medical, the leader in used and refurbished medical equipment. Wrightwood specializes in ultrasound equipment, but can also be your vendor of choice when sourcing lower-cost alternatives for your operating room suites, scanning the entire medical spectrum. From single physician offices to larger hospitals, Wrightwood is the lower-cost solution for your everyday medical equipment needs, and all of Wrightwood's equipment comes with warranty. You can reach Wrightwood directly at www.wrightwoodmedical.com. That is with a W, WRIGHTWOOD medical, or 773-848-7100. Again, 773-848-7100. If it's used medical equipment, it's Wrightwood Medical.
Welcome back to Taking It to the Streets. It's Andy Goldman. A little more of a formal beginning than Rich Beem afforded us in the first segment. Rich was just so full of himself because he just rubbed my face in the dirt with the Masters, as he should, former PGA winner himself. And this show is brought to you by Wrightwood Medical, www.wrightwoodmedical.com. They are the leader in refurbished medical equipment, specifically ultrasound equipment. You can reach them at www.wrightwoodmedical.com, or you can call them directly, 773-848-7100. Once again, 773-848-7100. Okay, we talk a lot of football on this podcast. We talk a lot of golf. We never talk baseball.
Well, I was at the Masters, so I was there. I saw the whole thing. It was unbelievable.
All right. So the gentleman that you are seeing in the other screen, José Cruz Jr., needs no introduction. Junior, thank you for making the time to talk to us.
My pleasure.
I want to give the backstory. There's always the story of how I either know or don't know somebody, and I always like to talk about this with the fans. They're like, how do you know this person? How did this person show up on your podcast? Blah, blah. This one actually makes sense. This is not as weird as other stories. We have a common friend, okay? This is for the guys out there. You're out at the golf range, you're hitting balls, you're with your buddy, you're going to go out and play. It's a twosome.
That's
okay?
Right.
Or so you think.
That's right.
He has a common friend, okay? In Junior's case, it's Bobby Bonilla. With my buddy, they both have sons, daughters that are involved in college golf, okay? We're going off to one. Hey, can we join you? Of course. So the rest is history. Now, here's the thing about golf that's tricky, at least from my perspective. When I play with anybody, they don't have to be, famous, non-famous, anything like that. I truly do want to get to know them because I'm investing 4.5 hours of time with that person or those other two guys. I really do. It's genuine. I really want to invest. It's going to be a business client. I'm not saying it's not self-promoting, but I'm being honest that I do want to make some kind of connection. I just think it's smart. So it's hard because you're playing with your buddy and they're really playing in a different game, okay? Yeah, that's how the game works. Unless, of course, you're kind of playing card golf and your ball seemingly finds the same part of the fairway and the green that the other guy in the other cart or both of them find. That's the only way you're going to make a contact with them. Junior here and I were playing a lot of the same cart golf for probably the first 6 holes. It started to get almost weird. We're reading each other's putts, and the rest is history. You become social with that person. I mean, you're kind of buddies because you're similar handicaps, and that's the deal.
Yeah, but same.
Is that a fair intro, Junior, of how we got rolling?
Straight random. We missed our tee time. The whole deal. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had a great game. The game evolved into a second half betting game where the Israelis took on the Puerto Ricans.
That's right.
2 Jews took on.
I was trying to tell Bobby, I'm not ready. I am not ready
For that,
Oh, we got to do something. And so it began, donation.
I digress. So we go into baseball now. Obviously, we're going to talk baseball. Two very well-known, established, great baseball players afterwards. We go into the bar at the club. Very nice conversation, okay? In the interest of brevity, I'm not going to rehash every bit of it, but it's basic. Who's the best player of all time? I think it's Ricky Henderson. They felt it was Barry Bonds. We go back and forth a little bit. Care to shed a little bit on that, Junior, as far as the analogy or where you were going with Bonds versus Ricky Henderson? I mean, obviously they're very different players. I mean,
I had the great fortune of playing against both of them, and I was teammates with Barry. I imitated Ricky when I was in high school.
go for it. Come on, I'm putting you on the spot. Give me a Ricky right now. I had Roy Firestone do a Gordon Lightfoot. Give it to me.
What, the Ricky Henderson?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just basically lean on the backside, put your hand behind your back right here, kind of flipping that thing, stay on the backside real good, and be in that good position to be able to drive the ball, especially to the pull side.
Okay.
And that was something that I was wanting to do. I remember must have been probably my freshman year in high school where I was trying to imitate Ricky Henderson. That's when I started playing center field too. So it was all kind of perfect timing for me to be able to watch him. He also was a teammate of my dad's, and I remember watching him play 1988 with the Yankees. And so he was one of the players there that I got to see every day. I did not miss a game in Yankee Stadium that summer. I was there with my dad, basically ride with my dad to go to the field every day. In that team, you had guys like Dave Winfield, Willie Randolph, Mike Pagliarulo, John Mattingly, Ricky Henderson, Jack Clark, Dave Righetti, Ron Guidry was there, Rick Roden, Tommy John, Rick Cerrone, Don Slott. Those are all guys that were on that team. Rafael Santana was the shortstop.
Yeah.
You had a young Jay Buhner on there, young Roberto Kelly, Randy Velarde, young Randy Velarde, all those guys. Those guys were all there. And I remember meeting them and having just the good fortune of being able to talk to them when I was like probably 13. And that was cool, man. A very impressionable time for me at that point.
It's funny because we're going to get to this shortly. You laid such a good segue by naming those players. I guarantee anyone who's watching this, there's a romanticism towards baseball and baseball players that's second to none. And every single one of those guys you just mentioned is almost like a Bruce Springsteen song to people. Like it means something different. And I mean, when you got to Ron Guidry, I had the goosebumps because
Louisiana Lightning, man.
What's that?
Louisiana Lightning.
Exactly. And I would, and my thing was, I'm about 8 years old, going to the park in my neighborhood and trying to throw the ball as hard as I can against the fence with the aspiration, is it 25% as hard as Ron Guidry? Like a child would think. You know, is it 30%? I'd be thrilled if someone like walked by and said, hey, that's 30%. Just things like that. Donnie Baseball, blah, blah, blah.
Funny, I'll tell you some more deeper connection there. So my dad's manager that year, it started out as Billy Martin. He was his manager. So the GM of that team at the time was Lou Piniella.
Okay.
So in the middle of Lou Piniella, in the season, Lou Piniella fires Billy Martin. And then Lou Piniella names himself the manager of that team. So time elapses, whatever. My dad is released or something happened. They traded for Ken Phelps, I believe, from Seattle. And so Seattle got Jay Buhner, right? So I told you that I met Jay Buhner at that point. So fast forward, I don't know how many years, 7, 8, maybe 8 years, 9 years-ish. My first manager in the big leagues is Lou Piniella. And then the guy who took care of me immediately when I got there was Jay Buhner.
Wow.
So, and it was just like in reverse, right? It was in reverse of my dad taking care of Jay, and then Jay taking care of me immediately when I got there. So anyways, it was kind of like this connection that happened immediately when I got to Seattle.
Okay, so the questions I have for you, Junior, are just a hodgepodge over the last couple of weeks of having beers and talking to people and texting people and all that stuff, and ask them this and ask them that. So this is going to be like, Phil Donahue, just asking questions. Okay, they don't have any symmetry to them. They're just good questions, I think. Okay, they aren't going to have any kind of rhythm to it. So why the dominance of the Hispanic players, specifically from Venezuela, the Dominican, Cuba?
Right now?
right now and over the last 25 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it starts with Dave Concepcion and Ezekiel and people like that, but
It starts with Roberto Clemente.
yeah,
Where it starts. Orlando Cepeda, Juan Marichal,
Minoso.
Minoso. Yeah, Manny Sanguillen, and you got Bert Campaneris and a bunch of guys like that, right? There were very much guys that people looked up to. You could throw in Dave Concepcion, you can throw in Jose Cruz, Cesar Cedeno. Those guys are just that were, I guess, the origin of a lot of these things, right? I think there's a passion in the islands, and I'm from the Puerto Rican descent, so we definitely have a passion for the game, and the same can be said for Dominican and Cuba and Venezuela. I think Colombia's starting to move. I think Panama's got some stuff. Mexico too. So since you were a young kid, man, that's kind of one of those things. It's like I equate it to like a Brazilian kicking a soccer ball. It's one of these things that it's what you do. When you're a kid, everybody kicks a soccer ball and tries to do tricks with a soccer ball. And we're very similar. It's like there's a different fluidity when a Latino fields in the middle infield. It's just a different fluidity. It's just the way how you move to the ball. Not that it's right or wrong or anything like that. It's just like a different movement of how this happens. So I think it happens because there's a different way of preparing yourself, of teaching it, of going about it, of how you're supposed to look, how you're supposed to move, part of it. And there's so many reps and the fields aren't that great. So it's just a different place. And I think like in the Caribbean, and I'll say this because I always feel like the Dominicans is like the best place to just live something like that. And I recommend anyone who hasn't done it, just go to the Dominican, the Winter Ball, and watch a game. And the way that the fans live every strike, every moment, every batted ball, every homer. And I think the players feed off that fan, and then the players end up living up this moment. I think it's changed a little bit because now it's a little more accepted, especially in all walks of life. Because in the big leagues, it was always kind of real cold about this celebration part, but now it's a little different. Now everybody's starting to celebrate a little more, but the stuff was going on already in the, I would say in the Winter Ball stuff. It was just real fiery. I was in your face in many ways. And then after the game, you shake hands and have fun and go out or whatever. I think that WBC, because of it, I think has shown the world this whole different way of people going about playing baseball and enjoying the game. And I think enjoyment and showing your emotions are allowed, and to the point where I think fans love it. I think fans love seeing a guy being real emotional about doing something really good, and it pumps people up. It seems like it happens in every sport, and baseball is the last one to move in that direction. So that's cool to see that happen. But I think it stemmed from the Caribbean and how the fire and the love for the game was expressed.
When you look back at your career, what do you think of? What do you think of when you think of, were you always, it seems so obvious that you were pegged to be a baseball player from birth. Your dad's José Cruz. Is it that simple that you were always going to be a baseball player? Was there any other option for you? Like, were you, run from there.
Everybody wants to be a baseball player, right?
Definitely.
As
30% as good as Ron Guidry.
Yeah. So it's one of those, I always wanted to play baseball. That was one of the things. It turns out my dad played baseball, so there's a passion of the country where I was born. My mom signed me up so that I would do something because I was just stuck in the house not doing anything. So that's how my baseball career began. And so everybody that I liked and I loved played baseball. So I gravitated to it. It wasn't that easy. I had plenty of times where my dad would be like, hey, I think you should, focus on school, get really good at science. I don't know if baseball is the game for you. I don't know if that was his way of motivating me, but I used to chuckle when he used to say that to me. But I had a passion for it. And I think once I was about 15, 16, I really became more of an obsession to me than just like it's beyond a passion. It was just an obsession. And I worked at it. All I did was think about it. I woke up with it. I went to bed with it. I was always doing something to try and be better. I was good at visualizing. I imagined myself facing all these guys. I imagined facing Nolan Ryan and Jack Morris and guys like that when I was at home taking pitches and watching TV and felt like I was in the World Series against those guys. So that was something that happened. I mean, then next thing you know, I ended up going to Rice. I thought that was a good move. I was going to get a chance to play, and at the same time, it was the best academic school around. And I figured if baseball didn't work, I'd graduate and go be a lawyer somewhere. And then baseball just took off for me. I think I had a big jump between 18 and 19 years old, and I just kept improving. 19 to 20 was big. 20 and 21 was bigger. So all these things happened. I mean, the timing was perfect, and I just rode that wave, and I got drafted in 95, and in 97 I was in the big leagues.
Oh, that easy.
Well, it's not. It was funny. It's like you're like, this is what I thought. This is what I was gonna do. I put everything on the table. You know, I like the saying says, you know, you come in your boat. I burned my boat. There's no turning back. I'm gonna make it or die, and that's it. And
No plan B.
Fortunately, it happened fast.
Yeah, no plan B. Successful. Don't ever have a plan B.
No, I did not.
I mean, plan B was that I have a degree from Rice.
That was it. That was it.
Yeah. But you have two uncles that played in the big leagues.
That's right.
I mean, did they have they had to have had a big influence on you. You know, you're at a family dinner and the two uncles show up, and
yeah.
I mean,
no, it was big. It was big. I mean, every one of my uncles, I had a bunch of uncles, man, right? I had like 8 or 9 uncles. But one of, they all played. They all had a passion for the game. And I had 2 of them in particular that made it to the big leagues. So one of them, they call him Tommy, was very instrumental in my hitting. Like basically, we just talked hitting a lot, and he took care of me hitting wise a lot. And we just got into the mechanics a little bit, a lot of approach, a little more mechanics. And so it was great for me. I remember my uncle, Hector, who's the other one, talking to me a little bit about the defense and how you attack it. And all of us were outfielders. Okay. So it's even a more complicated conversation.
Yeah. Dynamic.
Because people start pointing fingers at, no, what about this? No, you got to do that. No, it's like this. So it becomes like a real interesting, colorful, very colorful conversation at our house, which was hilarious if you weren't one of the 3 brothers. Okay. It was hilarious.
There was good theater. It's good theater if you weren't one of the 3 characters.
Correct. Correct. But the guys got along great, but they poked at each other pretty hard about it. And they all could throw, you know, they were all relatively fast. So, you know, they're all different types of hitters too. So that was the part that was also fascinating to be a part of. But yeah, it was ingrained in me. I mean, look, man, I cannot tell you being taught, if I got taught baseball instincts, I did not. It was common sense to me. Everything made sense to me, playing the game and watching it and moving and being ahead of things. It was not much talk. I remember my dad telling me, hey, anticipate the play before it happens, right? What are you going to do if the ball's hit here? What are you going to do if the ball's hit there? As a defender, know exactly where you're going to go before the ball happens. That's about as much coaching as I got as far as the instincts of baseball.
Yeah. Well, you don't know any better, but I mean, is it a burden being Jose Cruz's son? I mean, is that something that's obviously, again, you don't know any better, but it for the rest of us that you know, man, that is a really heavy load.
I understand, and I can see why people would say that. Fortunately for me, I was never in competition with my father. I was more grateful for the opportunity. So I was never in competition. For me, it's like, look, if it wasn't for that man, I wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't have this opportunity to be here. So I'm grateful for him. I mean, it's like, if I can be close to as good as what he was, then I'll be very happy and satisfied. That was about it for me, and a shadow and all that stuff. I wanted to be the best player I could possibly be. I wanted to be the best player on the field every time I stepped on the field. So I took great pride in just trying to do that. and I worked really hard so I can be prepared for when the time came. And that's about as simple as much as say as I really looked at it. I kept it pretty simple. I try to do the same with my son about it too, and he understands. It's like, look, you're not competing against me or anything. There's nothing. I have nothing to do with what you got. So it's just you go out there and you be the best version of yourself and see what happens. And that's about it.
Yeah. Is it me or is baseball real comfortable with holding a grudge? It seems like you don't see it with football. You don't see it with basketball. It seems innate to baseball, this grudge holding. So it starts, I'm sure, before Joe Jackson, but let's just start there for the timeline.
Yeah.
And then we're not going to reconcile what happens with Joe Jackson and the Black Sox. We're just going to let it simmer. It's now 2025. It's still not reconciled. And I'm from Chicago.
Yeah.
And it's still an issue. You've got, of course, the Rose issue. You've got the steroid issue. All reconciled, non-reconciled, excuse me. Why is that, man? Why is baseball so comfortable holding a grudge and leaving out prolific characters of their history?
Yeah.
If you do that with in history, you're going to leave out a lot of great.
Yeah, that's a really tough one. That's a tough one because it's really taboo. The gambling part is taboo, right? And who knows exactly what happens? Nobody knows exactly what really happened, except that bets were made when it comes to Rose. I think he just poked at the commissioner maybe a little too much, where he should have just been repentful and moved along and just been sorry, because what he did merits being in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's a hit leader of all time. He's one of the greatest baseball players to ever play baseball, really. Charlie Hustle is unique. He changed the game. I think guys that change the game should be worthy of consideration. And his record is going to be really tough to beat, really, forever. One of the toughest ones, I think. Probably Cal Ripken's probably the hardest one of all time, and then probably this hits one probably second, I would say, to as far as the toughest feats to accomplish in all the sports. So I think that was maybe a little more diplomacy might have been better. That I got him a little more leeway about it. Yeah, and then the steroid thing that became a gigantic deal, and it's a tough one, and I get both sides of it. And heck, if there was none of that going on, probably might have been looked at a little bit better, or it might have been a little tougher. I mean, it was hard. I didn't think twice about it. I just competed as best I could, and that was that, right? And I just tried to compete. I didn't want to put any more excuses into anything, or any more thoughts into what I was trying to do. I was just trying to stay focused on and just give myself the best chance to succeed, and just do it for as long as I could.
What do you think of baseball now? I mean, as far as how slow it is and how it needs to be brought up into the current internet age, so to speak, the Google age, and it really, I'm a baseball fan, but I'm pained by how slow it takes a pitching coach to come out before the ump comes out, before the practice pitches, the list goes on and on. And in the old days, that was called strategy and part of the process, and now it's looked at as a annoyance. So where do we go with that?
I think part of it was trying to speed up the game a little bit and just have it move a little faster. Again, it's only in the big leagues or major leagues that this happens, because usually all the other places, or I should say just MLB affiliated, all the other places, it's not like people aren't rushing to leave the stadium. Like, people love being at the stadium. And I think people at the stadium love being at the stadium. I think that there's money involved, and it has to do with TV, and they want to put baseball in a nice, 3-hour box for TV wise, and they don't want it to go 3.5 or 4. They want the action to be fast. And I think that's why the clock came in to effect. I mean, I don't mind the games being 2 hours and something more consistently. I think in a way that's a good thing, to be able to just speed it up. There's strategy now to it. The pickoffs are a deal. The timeouts, it's a deal with the hitters. You got to be a little more ready. You got to make your adjustments fast. I think the game is still really fast. I think the closer you get to the field, it's like, it's just it's like a blur. You got to make sure you stop because it moves fast. That's what I think happened. I mean, I don't have any issues with baseball right now and how it's being played or how it goes about things. I mean, I was not a fan of extra innings to be honest. I'm glad this action, this has happened where you have instant action. I was a proponent of after when the 10th inning started, I thought it would be cool to basically be able to have a 5-minute break and be able to rework your lineup however you wanted, both teams.
Yeah.
Rework their lineup, rewrite their lineup, and put whoever they want to hit first and second and third and fourth and just start from there. I thought that would be a cool thing to do because people would love for the extra innings to start. Because I was like, oh man, now we're going to get to see, Judge is going to lead off or Judge is going to hit second for sure here or whatever, whoever it is, Ohtani or whatever, right? So I thought that would be a nice touch to
Totally.
the extra innings.
You know what? I was doing a little research on you and your father, and man, your dad, this cracks me up. Tell me, is this true? He still leads Houston all time in triples with 80.
Mhm.
That's true?
Yeah.
And that his last at bat and hit was a pinch hit grand slam against the White Sox.
I was there. That's right.
I would have been crying my eyes out. That would have been
against Melito Perez from the White Sox. That's right.
interesting. Was that emotional as all hell for you to
Well, I didn't know it was the last hit. So I remember, I don't know what I was doing. I was either getting a hot dog or somebody, I don't know. And then all of a sudden I was like, and the pinch hitting, José Cruz, and I ran out to the stands to watch it. First pitch, boom, homer into the porch. Right. Yeah, it was fast. It was pretty cool.
He didn't go long in the count with him. He jacked on him quickly.
Right away. So that's a treasured moment for me. Yeah, for sure. I was there to see his last hit.
That is so magical.
Yeah. I you know what? He was there to see my last hit. He was a coach of the Astros. So he saw my last hit as well that I got. Yeah.
You have all these synergies, these weird shit, like you told earlier about the Pinella story and Beemer and all that kind of stuff. And it's a weird how it comes full circle.
It really does, man. It really does.
Where's your dad at now? What's
He's here. He's in Houston.
Is he in good health and everything? Is he
great?
Does he go out and watch your kid play at all?
Yeah. He does. I've been with him. We've flown out to watch him play. He's here. He's still with the Astros. He does a lot of like public relations, and he's special assistant to somebody.
It's amazing. Yeah. Junior, before I let you go, what'd you think of the Masters? And then a little sign before you answer the question, because we talked about it just now about speed of play. Does it bother you when you watch? It bothers me when you watch Scheffler take as long as he takes when his ball's out of bounds, and how that can unnerve the rest of the field. And I just think there's gamesmanship and poor sportsmanship. I really do think on his part when you do that. Rory McIlroy's guilty of it. Spieth is definitely guilty of it. I mean, we talk a lot of golf on the show. Where do you fall on that as far as how long before golfers need to kind of answer to that criticism?
I think it's really hard to say, hey, you have 45 seconds or whatever the time is to be able to hit a ball. I think there needs to be a little bit of a common sense to it because things are a little different at times. And if it's the championship round, it's also, I would say, the last day, right, of the golf.
The stakes are so high.
I think a little bit of time or a little leeway on something, as long as it's not like completely blatant or flagrant, is okay. The precision that is required for these guys on these tough courses is unbelievable. I mean, at the Masters, for those who haven't been, some of these green complexes that you're looking at are ridiculous, like ridiculous. We camped out on 14 and we were on that green, and that was, I mean, I'm looking from above and I couldn't believe the ball was going away from the hole, and where it usually goes, back to front on the holes. And this particular hole is going from front to back. And you're like, what in the world's going on? And then you see all these hills in there and you're like, how is this possible? So those are things, I mean, you start looking at the green on 9 and the green on 17 and the green on 18, and you're like, these things. And the green on number one's crazy. Like, I don't know how people. I mean, that's an easy bogey. Period. Like the moment you start, it is so hard.
Start off on a bad note.
It's
Well, look at how the beginning started off with McIlroy and DeChambeau on Sunday. I mean, that says it all, how tough one is.
easy to do. It's got to be the toughest number one hole in all of PGA. I mean, it is very hard. It's got to be up there. So I don't mind it. I don't mind the slowness if that's what the situation calls for at that time, not just to be slow for slow's sake.
Okay. So you're right. There's a fine line between
situational.
Correct. And you're right. In Scotty's case, we're talking about the Masters, and in Rory's case, those are big stake.
Because I feel like Scotty played really well. He just didn't make the putts.
Correct.
Played really, really well. Like his stuff.
He finished 4th, Junior. He had a great tournament. I mean, there's no
missed putts, man. He just missed putts. Like as a champ, he might win again. He might win the Masters again.
Before you, Rich Beem was on our show, and he's obviously covers. He's a kind of a correspondent with me for this thing and does golf picks with me and that kind of stuff. But his real gig is with Sky Sports. So he's kind of like the golf channel of the UK. And I said to him, because he was saying how excited everybody was getting in the tent for Rory. And I said, Rich, am I crazy that I found myself rooting for Justin Rose to beat him? Does that make me a bad guy? Like that I was rooting for who I think is an incredible statesman and soldier of the game and all these things that had to qualify at Royal Troon last year to get in, played with, young kids because he basically didn't qualify and makes that insane putt on 18. I mean, and he's like, no, you're not crazy, but you're crazy. So I mean, where do you fall on wanting Justin Rose to win it in that moment?
You know what? Justin Rose also played great, right? So the fact that he did that charge at the end there to be able to put himself in the position was amazing. We're scoreboard watching going like, oh my God, what the heck's going on? It's like 3 guys right now.
Did you watch Rose play for 4 days, by the way? I'm sorry to interrupt.
I saw Rose play, on TV, I would say the first 2. And then I saw him on Saturday and Sunday live.
And like Rich said, he was lights out for the first 2 days. He's unbelievable.
Yep.
If he would have played like that on Saturday, he wins going away.
He wins without question. Like he played so good, and it was so. I mean, it's 4 rounds. It's so hard, man. It's so hard. I mean, being an inconsistent golfer, I can tell you. I mean, who knows who's going to show up today? But he is worthy of being a champion. I mean, we just can't anoint a guy just because we like him or we think the story's good.
Correct.
Just
so because you want this happy ending and you want this narrative of the career Grand Slam. Doesn't mean that the arduous nature of golf, which is a lifetime pain and struggle that extends from all us, people are at level, all the way to Jack Nicklaus, exists.
Right.
And if it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't meant to be. And I didn't like how Rory didn't measure off that putt on 18 for the win. I thought he was real quick to putt it because I thought he was scared of the moment. And I didn't get that, not measuring that off.
Hey, I'm going to tell you this. So I saw the 18 tee that he did on the end of his 4th round, which he bombed. Yep. That was unbelievable. Like I was behind there watching it going like, oh my God.
It was aggressive as hell. Like,
it was
just he didn't have to hit driver there.
I appreciated it. Right. And then you go to the playoff hole and I am probably 30 yards behind that bunker, the driving bunker.
Yeah.
Right. I'm right there. So
the one that Ober got in trouble with? Or the other side. The Over got in trouble on the left side.
The one on the left where you're aiming at it from your teeth, right? So I'm probably 30 yards underneath it.
Brutal bunker.
So it sucks. It sucks. And the whole hole is uphill. It's crazy. So we see Rose hit, and Rose hit, I don't know what he hit. He might have hit a 3-wood or something because he was kind of short. But I was like, ooh, that's an interesting play because now he gets to go first and he can put pressure. Right? He's going to be able to hit his iron, stick it, and he'll put pressure on Rory. And he did, man. He did. I mean, he hit it was 15 feet. That's pretty good. And then you go and you see where Rory landed on his drive, and you're like, I mean, he was a super Walmart ahead. Okay.
Yeah.
He was way ahead. He bombed.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, you're looking at I don't know what Rose hit. I would imagine it was some sort of 7-iron, 6-iron, 7-iron-ish distance for him. And then Rory, I wouldn't be surprised if he had a wedge in. And, it was that different of a game. And he was able to just absolutely paint it, man. He painted it in. Besides dunking it, that was about as good as you can get. In the playoff moments. Right. So kudos to Rory there to be able to come back from disappointment, because it's devastating, to come back and just rip it, birdie, game over. That was unbelievable.
Who's your favorite golfers? Give me 2 guys that you like that you'd like to see get to the next level. That just had.
I like to watch Finau play.
Yeah.
I like to watch his swing. I think like one of the most elegant swings is Justin Rose.
Yeah.
So I always watch him anytime he's doing something. I do like Scotty Scheffler. I love the back foot drag. I feel like I do that a lot when I'm rolling, so I can appreciate that part. I would say those 3 probably stand out for me. Are the guys that I watch the most. I like to watch John Ram because my swing's not that long, so it's guys with the little short swing I really enjoy watching.
I love Xander.
Oh, awesome. Jason Day, awesome.
Yeah,
These guys are really good, man. That you read, just like you're like, geez, this guy.
right. Wasn't it stunning, the leaderboard, to see all these guys that are in their late 30s, 40s that were all top to Zach Johnson with a 66? I mean,
yeah. He birdied one of the holes that was watching. It was on 14. He birdied it. Just zipped it anyway.
What's Zach Johnson?
My God, okay. We're gonna go Zach.
Before we let you go, give me who plays the World Series, who wins. Is there any way to get past the Dodgers?
That's a really hard question right now.
That's why I asked.
I think the Dodgers are the best team. I mean, they're stacked up and down. Every bullpen guy, every start. I'm saying the stuff that they bring to the table, and then you have the beyond the stuff, the ability to locate and make things difficult, and the vice versa on the offensive side. Like, you make mistakes, you're going to get absolutely hammered. They have a mixture of right and left-handed hitters. They have a few Hall of Famers at least at the moment that are in the lineup right now, playing at a high level. I mean, there's no other team like it. I mean, they're the show in MLB. Like, the must-watch TV is them right now. I mean, you could say a little bit. Maybe the Yankees might have something, and that's. I mean, I said Braves are talented, but they're not playing that great.
The Padres are playing well this year, man.
Padres are talented. I mean, they're not the Braves, they're not the Dodgers, but they have some talent. They have some real talent in the middle. I mean, the Mets have talent. They're a pretty talented group. So, I mean, we'll see who gets hot later. But I mean, right now, you're just trying to stay in contention. You can't win it, but you can sure lose it now.
Yeah.
So now it's just a matter of trying to stay around 500. If you can do better, great. But just stay there until wait for the hot moment, because teams are going to get hot. And it's going to be, by the All-Star break, you'll see some teams that are going to be like separating themselves completely from the field, right? So those, we'll see then. We can have a better conversation in June, July about the World Series. Right now, you don't know, man. You have no idea. Somebody could get hurt. What happens if Ohtani's gone? Ohtani, Mookie, they both get hurt. Freddie's ankle swells up again or something, and then you're in trouble. The Dodgers are in trouble, right? All of a sudden, they got to depend on their pitching.
Yeah.
What about the Mariners? They can pitch. They're really good.
For the White Sox sufferers out there, do they have a streak this year where they win 4 games or not?
I think, oh man, that's a good one. I would say,
bad question.
I would say they have a chance at it. They have a chance at the 4 games. It's not crazy. I mean, 10 games might be crazy, but 4 games could work. I mean, they're doing better than they were last year.
They are. There's a heartbeat there.
And the division's not like the toughest division in MLB, but there's some talent there. I think Detroit has some talent. I think the Royals have talent. Cleveland's always seems to be in it, and they always find a way,
right,
to be in it. They're whatever they're doing.
Happy as hell.
They do a great job. I mean, you look at their record. probably in the last 10, 15 years. And I bet you they gotta be in the top 5 best records in MLB in the last like 15 years, because they're just constantly in it. They're constantly in it with homegrown stuff, which is also like,
Totally. Junior, we're going to catch up with you later on baseball season, man.
that was good. We'll do it again, man. We'll do it again at a different venue. It'd be awesome.
Awesome. Good seeing you. Goodbye from St. Pete. And remember, folks, you're only as good as your last trade. So never too high, never too low, till we meet again.